Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Some, for lack of better terms, wild news coming out of this Florida Gators program late Saturday afternoon as former Charlotte quarterback DeShawn Purdie, who was expected to come into this Florida program and be that quarterback two behind DJ Lagway, is now, or at least sounds like, he will be leaving this Florida Gators program because he doesn't want to back up DJ Lagway. I'm not sure if there was a change of heart with DeShawn Purdie and say, hey, maybe I don't want to sit behind a really talented quarterback for the next couple of years, and maybe I want to go someplace where I'm going to have the opportunity to start. But at the end of the day, I think there's two different conversations you have to have. I think one most pressing is, all right, who's going to be the quarterback two for the Florida Gators in the 2025 season? And then you have the discussion of, hey, what does the future of the quarterback room look like? Because I think one of the intriguing things about DeShawn Purdie is not only does he give you an exciting quarterback too, if DJ Lagway was to miss any time, but I think just as importantly, he's a young cat. He's only going into his second year of college football. Like there was an opportunity there for him to sit behind DJ Lagway for the next couple of years and potentially be the guy for Florida after DJ Lagway moves on to the NFL draft. Now, the future of the quarterback room, I feel pretty dang comfortable with. I mean, I think Florida likes Tramel Jones a lot. I think they really like Will Griffin, who's coming into the 2026 class. That seems to be not a really pressing discussion. I think the now pressing discussion becomes who's going to be the quarterback two for Florida in the 2025 year. Now, my thoughts on the lack of quarterback competition, to me, this is a no-brainer, especially when you're dealing with a quarterback like DJ Lagway. I mean, this is a young quarterback that clearly showed he can be a special dude over the next couple of years. If you're Billy Napier, you're this Florida Gators offensive coaching staff, you can't afford to waste spring practice, fall camp, carrying out a quarterback battle that we all know what the end result's going to be. DJ Lagway starting in 2025. And why I say that is, hey, DJ Lagway is a young quarterback that needs a lot of reps. If you were to have a quarterback competition between DJ Lagway and DeShawn Purdie, guess what it looks like? Maybe DJ getting 60% of the first team reps, DeShawn Purdie getting 40. You can't afford for DJ to be losing out on those first team reps in spring practice and fall camp. And so as frustrating as it might be that DeShawn Purdie has changed his mind and doesn't want to back up DJ Lagway, Florida is making the right move here in terms of not opening this thing up and having a quarterback competition. I think it's very similar to what Michigan was a couple of years ago, with J.J. McCarthy and Cade McNamara. Michigan, I think, foolishly, had a quarterback competition when J.J. was going into his second year. Reps were getting split 50-50. I think that really hindered J.J. McCarthy's development as a quarterback going into his sophomore year. Now, we all knew he was going to be the guy. I don't think it was a secret that J.J. McCarthy was going to win that quarterback battle, but you wasted a lot of valuable time and energy having a quarterback competition when there really shouldn't have been one. When you have the opportunity to name a quarterback and have that guy take over this offense, take over that locker room, and really command that offense, you can't pass up on it. And Florida's got that ability with DJ Lagway. Now, I want to get into the discussion of what the backup quarterback room looks like for Florida going into spring practice. Talk about the future of the quarterback room looks like. Now, before we get into it, as always, to the Florida Gator fans, y'all know I've had a blast talking this team over the last couple of months. The amount of support y'all continue to show, really through the highs and the lows of what Florida's been through the last 6 months, been a blast. Can't thank you guys enough. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Let it fly in the comment section. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. Without further ado, let's get into this one. Now, I think the most pressing discussion here is quarterback two. If DJ Lagway has to miss a drive or if DJ Lagway has to miss a game, who's going to come in and be serviceable and allow Florida to, not really just fall off a cliff when it comes to quarterback play? Because that's kind of what we saw, right? When Graham Mertz went down with the season ender and then DJ Lagway had to miss a few games and miss some time, the quarterback position, it fell off a cliff last year. Like, I think the quarterback two conversation, it's important. Now, I don't think it's extremely important because if Florida's doing something special in 2025, it's because DJ Lagway stayed healthy for all 12 plus games and was a Heisman caliber quarterback. Like, if you have to play a quarterback two, if you're any college football team and you have to play a quarterback two, you're probably not going to achieve your goals as a program. I think that's pretty clear. but you do want to have a quarterback that, say DJ Lagway has to go to the locker room and get something checked out. Or say DJ Lagway has to maybe miss a game while he's recovering from some, for example, a hamstring injury. Can you grind out that game with a solid quarterback that gives you a chance to win? That's the conversation. I think that the first option to me after what we saw from the Florida quarterback room in the 2024 year is probably going to be true freshman Tramel Jones. Now, Tramel Jones is an interesting one because when we talk about him coming out of high school, I mean, he's a guy that has played a lot of football, has been really productive, threw over for 7,000 yards, threw over 75 touchdowns, completed over 60% of his footballs. The conversation we had about Tramel Jones is he's definitely not as talented as DJ Lagway in terms of the size, in terms of the arm strength, in terms of the athleticism. But what we did really like about Tramel Jones is he was a pretty polished up quarterback. He's a guy that can be accurate with the football. He's a guy that can find answers and know where he needs to go. And so in terms of quarterback too, it's not ideal to have a true freshman quarterback in Tramel Jones, being the backup. That's probably how I look at it right now. And I think Florida's in a spot here where they can go into spring practice. Tramel Jones is going to be an early enrollee, so he's going to be on campus. You can get a look at what Tramel Jones looks like and say, hey, if DJ Lagway has to miss a drive or if DJ Lagway has to miss a football game, is Tramel Jones a guy that can come in and give us a chance to win? And if that's the case, you feel pretty good, and you probably don't have to go to the transfer portal to add a quarterback. But if that's not the case, and Tramel Jones looks like a true freshman that might not be ready to find the football field, hey, maybe some other guys in that room are ready. Or you go into the spring transfer portal window and maybe you grab a quarterback. And again, I think it's going to be hard because quarterbacks want to start, and there's not a starting opportunity for a guy like DJ Lagway. But there are some guys that maybe are in a similar position to DeShawn Purdie, and that is really talented quarterback that might need a couple of years, that's young, that has a lot of eligibility because DJ Lagway is young too, that wants to come to Florida, develop behind DJ Lagway, and potentially be the guy. A guy like DeShawn Purdie is to me ideal. One, DeShawn Purdie's game kind of represents what DJ Lagway's game is. He's a big athlete that pushes the ball vertically down the field quite well. So the fit was good. If DJ Lagway has to miss a game or miss a drive, the offense doesn't really change. And he's young and talented. We'll see where Florida decides to go. I think this suddenly becomes a little bit of a question mark going into spring practice. Hey, who's going to be the quarterback two? And is there a quarterback two on our roster that we feel comfortable that can go and win us football games? Now, the second conversation I feel pretty comfortable with, and that is the future of the quarterback room. One, the future in the short term for the next at least 2 years is DJ Lagway, and you feel damn good about it. Now, what does it look like in 2027? That's the conversation. One, DJ Lagway could come back for a fourth year, and we're seeing a lot of quarterbacks hang around for that extra year because of NIL. We'll see how that plays out. I personally think DJ Lagway, if you're a Florida fan, quite frankly, you're probably rooting for him to be a three-and-done guy. Because if he's a three-and-done guy, that means he's done some really good things for Florida the last 2 years. Then you look at 2027, you'll have Will Griffin going into his second year. You'll have Tramel Jones going into his third year. You might be able to grab a quarterback in the transfer portal at some point as well. That is not a concern for me. That's 3 years off. When that time comes, we can either say Will Griffin or Tramel Jones, guys we recruited out of high school, or we'll be able to go to the portal, and we know there'll be plenty of options. At the end of the day, the future of the quarterback room doesn't concern me. I think the one concern is, hey, we really did like DeShawn Purdie's ability to give Florida really solid quarterback to play. And at the end of the day, if you're a fan of any power program like Florida, the bluest of blue bloods, you kind of have to understand that in this modern era of college football, it's going to be really hard to have a bona fide stud at quarterback too. Because if you're a bona fide good football player, you're probably transferring out and starting somewhere else. And so it's going to be hard to find a really quality quarterback too. Not a lot of teams are going to have them. If Florida reaches the success I expect from them in 2025, you make no mistake about it. You know who's leading this offense for all 12 games, and that's DJ Lagway. It stinks. It stings a little bit. I don't think it's as big of a deal as maybe some will make it out to be. But now the question is, who is that quarterback two that emerges in spring practice? We'll sign out there. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys. And we'll talk to y'all later.